Temujin was born into the Borjigan clan, the son of Yesuge, a respected chieftain. His father's power had provided security, and Temujin had grown up surrounded by tales of courage and conquest. But this life of protection shattered one cold day when poison entered his father's veins, delivered by a rival clan's scheming chieftain. Temujin's world collapsed. Yasuge's death left his family stranded, abandoned by their own people and forced to survive on the brutal fringes of Mongolian society. As the clan abandoned them, young Temujin watched his mother, Hailin, with awe and fierce loyalty. She gathered her children and took on the tasks once shared by their tribe. They foraged in the wild, and Hoylin taught Temujin to read the landscape and survive under the harshest conditions. But surviving was no small feat. Every day was a battle against starvation, against the cold, and against the wolves that lurked nearby, both animal and human. Temujin learned that survival was not granted by birth or title. It was earned through grit and cunning. And so, the boy began to carry a new fire within him, an ember of unyielding resilience that would shape the world. One frigid evening, Temujin faced his first test. His family, famished and exhausted, huddled in their crude shelter when strangers arrived. They offered no greeting but seized Temujin, binding him with a wooden collar as a captive. He was dragged from his family, his face pressed into the dirt as they led him to a life of servitude. This moment would etch itself deep into his memory. Temujin spent days in captivity, under the watchful eye of his captors. Yet, even in these dark hours, Temujin's mind whirred with thoughts of freedom. He observed his captors, their patterns and routines, and waited for his chance. One moonless night, as the camp lay in slumber, he made his move. Slipping free of his restraints, he crept into the shadows and ran. Every step was a battle between exhaustion and the fierce will to live. By morning, Temujin was miles away. This escape solidified something crucial within him. He was not a pawn to be discarded. He would seize control of his fate. Returning to his family, Temujin resumed their daily struggle, yet now with a fire that could not be doused. The lessons of betrayal and loss hardened him, while his mother's wisdom taught him patience. Survival, he learned, required more than strength. It required the mind of a wolf and the heart of a hawk. Years passed, and Temujin grew into a young man of quiet intensity and calculating vision. His ambitions stretched far beyond mere survival. He dreamed of unity among the fractious Mongol tribes, a bond stronger than blood. But Temujin knew he could not do this alone. His first ally came in the form of Jamuka, a childhood friend from a different clan. The two men forged a bond that ran deeper than brotherhood, a kinship sealed in blood. Together, they vowed to shape the future of the Mongols. Temujin and Jamuka fought alongside each other, their combined strength drawing attention across the steppes. They became a formidable duo, challenging larger, more established clans and winning through a combination of speed, surprise, and sheer grit. Temujin's reputation grew. His knack for battle and his loyalty to his men began to draw warriors to his side. Unlike other leaders, who ruled through fear alone, Temujin inspired his men with fairness and rewarded bravery. In time, Temujin began weaving alliances with other clans, but his vision was clear. He would unify the Mongol tribes, transforming them from scattered nomads into an unstoppable force. He knew that tribal loyalty ran deep, yet he also believed that the Mongols could stand stronger together than apart. With each battle, with each alliance, he came closer to his dream. But beneath this ascent, a simmering tension began to grow between him and Jamuka as their visions for the future started to diverge. As Temujin's influence grew, so did the rift between him and Jamuka. Jamuka cherished the old ways, the idea of leading the Mongols as a loose federation of tribes, governed by traditional customs and divided loyalties. Temujin, however, saw the need for something greater, a unified nation of warriors bound by a single vision, able to conquer beyond the steppes. Their tension came to a head when Jamuka launched a surprise attack on Temujin's camp. As fire lit the night sky and the cries of the wounded filled the air, Temujin felt the weight of betrayal press down on him like a suffocating shadow. Jamuka's men took prisoners, slaughtering those they deemed unworthy or weak. For Temujin, this was a brutal reminder of the ruthlessness of clan rivalry and the true cost of loyalty. The attack left Temujin wounded in both body and spirit, but it also sharpened his resolve. He now understood that the Mongol tribes needed more than just a skilled leader. They needed a Khan who would crush old rivalries and unite them under a common banner. Temujin cast aside any lingering sentimentality for the old ways and set his eyes firmly on his destiny. His transformation into Genghis Khan had begun. No longer was he simply Temujin, the skilled warrior and outcast. Now he was Genghis Khan, the iron fist that would drive the Mongols toward glory. Under his leadership, warriors from scattered clans swore their loyalty, each finding a place in his vision of a new Mongol identity. Gone were the petty rivalries that had divided them. In their place, Genghis established a new code of law, the Yasa, uniting his people under a strict yet fair code that valued loyalty, courage, and honor. Genghis Khan's ascent was marked by battles that would become legends. In one decisive conflict against the Taichud tribe, he unleashed tactics so swift and unexpected that his enemies barely had time to react. His men struck with calculated ferocity, flanking their foes and deploying waves of archers who rained arrows from a distance. Genghis led his forces with unrelenting focus, his battle cries reverberating across the field, driving his warriors forward. Unlike previous Mongol leaders, Genghis Khan ruled through a mix of respect, ruthlessness, and an unprecedented vision for the future. His tactics were revolutionary. He was known to adopt innovative methods like splitting his army into units of 10, 100, and 1,000, which allowed for highly coordinated attacks. He valued loyalty above all, rewarding those who served him and punishing those who betrayed his trust. With each victory, his reputation grew, and the tribes of the Mongolian plateau began to look to him as the true leader of their people. Under his command, the Mongols became a fearsome, disciplined force. By now, Genghis had united the majority of the Mongolian tribes, transforming them from scattered nomads into a cohesive, unstoppable army. But his ambitions did not end with uniting the steppe. He looked to the distant lands beyond, lands ripe for conquest. With the tribes of Mongolia unified, Genghis Khan turned his gaze westward, where vast empires sprawled, ripe with wealth and resources. His scouts spoke of the Khwarizm Empire, a prosperous realm that dared to dismiss the Mongols as mere barbarians. Genghis sent a caravan of envoys to seek peaceful trade with the Khwarizm Shah, yet the Shah, suspicious and arrogant, betrayed him, killing the envoys and sending their severed heads back as a message. To Genghis, this was an unforgivable offense. He rallied his forces, reminding his men of their loyalty and the code they lived by, and prepared for war against the Khwarizm Empire. His wrath was swift and absolute. Moving with a precision that bewildered his enemies, Genghis's forces crossed deserts and mountains, pushing deep into Khwarizm lands. His army moved in coordinated waves, with flanking maneuvers that struck terror into the hearts of the enemy. One of Genghis's most fearsome tactics was psychological warfare. He allowed rumors of his brutality to spread, knowing it would weaken the morale of his enemies. Entire cities surrendered without a fight, hoping to avoid the fate of those who had dared to resist. But for those who defied him, Genghis showed no mercy. The Mongols left trails of destruction, and the Khwarizm Empire crumbled under their onslaught. His conquest pushed even further. From Central Asia to Eastern Europe, his empire stretched farther than any before it, spanning continents and cultures. The Mongol Empire became a symbol of both fear and respect, a realm where the Khan's iron laws enforced peace and order across a vast and diverse territory. By the time of his death, Genghis Khan had transformed not only the Mongols, but the entire known world. His empire stretched from the Sea of Japan to the Caspian, a colossal territory that connected East and West like never before. Traders, diplomats, and scholars traveled his lands, sharing knowledge and fostering connections that would change the course of history. His laws, the Yasa, enforced a unity and discipline that would outlast him, providing structure and justice in lands once divided by tribal rivalries and endless war. Genghis Khan's legacy is as complex as the man himself. He was both feared as a conqueror and respected as a ruler who valued merit and loyalty. Under his reign, the Mongols developed systems of communication, trade, and governance that influenced future generations. His life remains a tale of resilience, transformation, and the pursuit of an unwavering vision, one that rose from the ashes of a young boy's shattered world and forged an empire that changed history forever. A testament to the boundless potential of one man's vision.